Welcome back, everyone. Many people are familiar with the Brazilian gymnastics superstar and Olympic gold medalist Rebeca Andrage. But a generation before Rebeca, there was Brazilian gymnastics star DAIANE dos Santos. There were times these two trained together, and it's safe to assume that the older DAIANE was an inspiration for young athletes like Rebeca and many other young aspiring gymnasts. Today, I'll be analyzing the floor skills and routine of floor world champion DAIANE dos Santos from Brazil. DAIANE was very bouncy and moved very quickly throughout her floor tumbling and transitions. She was like an explosive firecracker. She's most recognized for becoming the 2003 world champion on floor exercise, and she has two skills named after her on the floor exercise: the Dos Santos 1 and the Dos Santos 2, which we'll be analyzing in this video. Let's get started with the analysis. DAIANE was very comfortable and natural at doing her Arabian tuck double front, which is a jump half turn to a double front essentially. She eventually did this skill in the pike position in an international competition, and it was named after her, the Dos Santos, which is a piked Arabian double front. This became one of the big skills of that time, and other athletes, like Ali Raceman, as we see here, started to perform the skill as well. DAIANE actually did this skill very easily and eventually went on to create the Dos Santos 2, which is a laid-out Arabian double front. Let's take a closer look. She has a strong set and drives her heels well until striking a more hollowed laid-out body position. She's a bit more piked or hollowed than you want to be for a layout skill, but they did give her laid-out credit for the Dos Santos 2. She was pretty consistent at landing the skill comfortably. These days, the athletes that train this skill use a much stronger heel drive technique to ensure the layout position. The contrast is really an arched layout position compared with a hollow straight body position. It's been performed by a few male gymnasts as well, like Jake Dalton, who uses the strong arch heel drive technique throughout his layout Arabian double front. As far as I could find, DAIANE is the only female gymnast to compete the laid out Arabian double front or the Dos Santos 2 in competition. Simone Biles also does a double layout with a half turn, but the half turn is done very late on the second flip. That's why they call it a Biles. The techniques are very different from each other. DAIANE's next skill is a laid out full in back out, or a double layout with a full twist with a twist on the first flip. In this side by side with Rebeca Andrage, we can see two different techniques for this skill. Rebeca does her full twist within her double layout, and it's really more like a double layout full out technique. DAIANE completes her full twist within the first flip of this double layout, which makes it a laid out full in. They both have the same value and they're done very well. DAIANE also does a very clean and solid double layout. We can see her legs are glued together and she lands very high. In this side by side with Rebeca, we can see a very similar technique with her arms down at her side and very clean form throughout, both landing very high, although Rebeca's landing gets away from her a bit. Every country has their own culture of style, and DAIANE and Rebeca seem to share in their high energy Brazilian approach to their choreography and their floor style. Both show very nice height and flexibility in their split leaps and partial turns before landing. Here's a traditional double turn, a horizontal leg double turn with her hands down by her side, and a horizontal leg turn with her arms above her head. On this jump tuck double turn, she has a sneaky technique here. She starts squared off, but before her feet leave the ground, she's almost halfway turned already. Then she does essentially a 1.5 turn with a tuck and lands squared off from her starting point. In fast motion, it's very difficult to see this. She uses her quick twitch movement to gain height in her jumps, leaps, and turns. Her most common dismount was a front pike into a round off back handspring double pike, done very clean and comfortably. This was very consistent for her. In this side by side with Rebeca, we can see they both have very similar pike position and clean form in their double pike. Well done. DAIANE dos Santos was a member of the 2004 and 2008 Brazilian Olympic teams. In 2004 in the floor finals, she went out of bounds twice, and that took her out of medal contention. In 2008, she wasn't fully recovered from an injury. DAIANE was defined by her energy, quick twitch movement, and excellent tumbling skills. Although DAIANE never earned an Olympic medal, she did become the 2003 world champion on the floor exercise. She also introduced two new skills that were named after her on the floor exercise, and she inspired many other young gymnasts like Rebeca Andrage. These are the characteristics that make up the legacy of DAIANE dos Santos. As always, thank you for checking out my analysis. When you like and subscribe, it helps me bring you more videos like this, and you'll be notified each time I release a new video. Also, feel free to leave any thoughts you might have in the comments, and until next time, all my best and rock on.